As a TEDx organizer, you hold a number of different roles. You're a curator of powerful ideas, a team leader, an event producer, and a community builder. Every time you bring people together at your events, you further establish your series as a place for growth and connection. You keep your finger on the pulse of your community's interests and needs, but more and more, TEDx events have the opportunity to be their community's heartbeat. Not just a single event, but a continued way to connect, experiment, and explore, to bring to life new ideas or revive old interests. So today, I'd like to talk about how you can do that a little more often or a little more easily by keeping your community engaged between your main events. We'll look at 3 ways to build out your calendar, focusing on the Salon license, adventures, and the TEDx Live license, starting with the Salon license. Salons are designed to be smaller, shorter, more focused, and more frequent events. Continued connection is a feature of this license type, with a minimum of 3 salon events held over the course of a year. Most salons feature only existing talks from TED.com, but if you choose to include local speakers at any of your salon events, then, unlike your main event, you can opt not to record them. So budget for the film crew or space for their equipment don't need to pose a constraint. With salon events, you're encouraged to dive deep into a single subject area. By focusing your salon on one topic, say on the mobility of tomorrow, you can get creative with your venue, unlocking spaces that can help contextualize the ideas shared or start conversations with more targeted sponsors, expanding your roster of partners. Salons offer a chance to really tailor your sponsor search. For example, TEDx Luxembourg City's salon on artificial intelligence and virtual reality was the perfect offering for the Ministry of Education's digital learning hub to support. While sponsors can never influence your program, seeking local companies or initiatives who have a vested interest in the conversations you're trying to foster can result in meaningful partnerships that further the work you're both doing. Salons can engage so many different facets of your community around an issue they find important, while also being a way to catch the attention of folks who may not be showing up to your main event. These thematic gatherings often appeal to industry professionals or hobbyists, whether they be foodies, excited to try and discuss local produce, or something a little more adventurous, or maybe those fascinated by marine life or wanting to tackle misinformation. Take a look at your primary audience and ask yourself, who isn't here? How can we capture the interest of those who aren't showing up? TEDx Chicago's Salon on Design is a great example of all 3 of these opportunities: focused theme, unique venue, and targeted sponsor in action. The team curated a multidisciplinary program centered around design, inviting fashion futurists and design neuroscientists to the stage. The event took place at the Mart, an iconic building known internationally as a beacon of innovation and design, and the leading sponsor was Canon Design, a renowned design solutions firm. The TEDx Chicago team dove even deeper into the theme and increased the immersive nature of the event by offering design excursions at local museums. The speakers, venue, sponsors, and activities each had their own appeal, bringing together design aficionados from across the region, helping to build networks and cross-pollinate ideas within the design world while also getting attendees excited for future TEDx Chicago gatherings. And while TEDx Chicago Salon was an incredible, comprehensive production, salon events can also be scaled down to host very intimate gatherings of up to a few dozen people, focused more around conversation and connection between smaller groups. Many teams choose not to program live speakers at their salon events. Instead, they select some TED or TEDx talks to feature. With these types of salons, similar to TEDx Chicago's, you can still explore beautiful venues and new partnerships while engaging attendees who are more aligned with a particular topic. But at these salons, facilitated discussions are more common. Teams can prepare questions and host roundtable chats, sometimes moderated by a past speaker or even by a local expert who may not quite be ready for your main stage. Fostering discussion will keep your audience connected to the content you've selected and allow them to forge deeper connections with one another. Bringing past speakers into the salon, either as a moderator or even as a guest curator, where they can select talks that further the conversation around their own idea, is a great way to foster the relationships you've built and the interest you might have already sparked around a topic. Another way to call on the expertise of your network or the excitement you've introduced is to bring your community to the ideas themselves via TEDx Adventures. TEDx Adventures are experiences. They're active and immersive. You can think of them as the hands-on counterpart to salons, where salons offer a deep dive into a single subject by way of talks and discussions. Adventures offer a deep dive by way of direct participation. TEDx Mile High explains it well. Adventures invite you to explore big ideas up close and personal. Adventures may take you to the slopes to explore changing ecosystems, deep in the archives of a city's museum to understand the technology used in art restoration, or to shared dinners to examine our food systems. While adventures are informative and educational, guided by a local expert, they don't take the form of a talk, and there's no additional license type or application process required for a TEDx adventure. As long as you have an active license of any kind, you can hold adventures at any point during the term of that license. You can hold them in the lead up to your event to get people talking, or hold them after to keep the conversation going. TEDx Toronto used this format to continue to engage speakers and leverage excitement generated by past talks. Here, this adventure was led by an alumni speaker. His talk focused on how graffiti can open our minds to valuing art and each other, and he took explorers on a tour of Graffiti Alley to discover how art is in everything we see. Adventures, like your main events, showcase what's unique about the place your community calls home. At this adventure by TEDx Rosario, attendees were able to participate in a hands-on intensive to learn more about yerba mate, the most popular drink in their country. And while many adventures take place in gorgeous settings, spotlighting the lovely or the fascinating, they can also take place in more common spaces, like the gymnasium of a local school, to help attendees understand some of the issues and potential solutions around everyday experiences, like traffic jams. Adventures can also offer a unique opportunity for your community to interact with your sponsors. Sponsor-led experiences give attendees the chance to better understand some of the important work local organizations are focusing on, and give your sponsors greater insight into some of the area's most engaged residents. This type of access to the movers and shakers of your community can be incredibly valuable for sponsors and can be a great addition to your partnership packages. Here, sponsors are more than just a logo in your program. They're showcasing their expertise to the people most likely to do something with it. Adventures are a fun way to engage your audiences beyond the stage. They're perfect for hands-on learners, for those who are dedicated to the practical application of an idea, or for those who have recently fallen in love with something you've showcased and just want to know more. Finally, let's talk about TED Conference watch parties, which are organized under a TEDx Live license. Similar to salons, speakers are optional at TEDx Live events, but unlike salons, these gatherings are focused around a live stream of a TED conference, watching new talks as they're presented, rather than selecting from existing talks on TED.com. There are typically 2 occasions to organize a TEDx Live event each year, one around TED's flagship conference in April, and another around TED's fall event. Because live speakers are seldom included, organizers and team members often get to enjoy the talks with their attendees, giving everyone a chance to watch, discuss, and celebrate together. With all the time your team spends creating these experiences for your community, it can be nice to join them every once in a while, remembering that you're part of this wonderful group you work so hard for. And speaking of working hard, TEDx Live events can be a great opportunity to hold a casual watch party for your team. Taking some time to watch the newest talks together and spark conversations around ideas when maybe you've been more focused on production timelines or volunteer schedules can help your team reconnect and re-energize. Creating world-class events and experiences isn't easy. Take some time together to rediscover the magic and intrigue of new ideas. And if you're a newer organizer just starting out, a TEDx Live watch party can give your team a sense of what a diverse program looks like. It can help provide a framework for how hosts introduce speakers, for how speakers structure their talks to create variety, and, of course, in the event of the unexpected, it can be a way to see how speakers or hosts recover or reposition. Watching the edited talks that are posted on TED.com later on can give your team a sense for how to approach the post-production process. Of course, if you do want to invite your broader community, then TEDx Live events give you another chance to explore lesser-used spaces, from offices after hours to local cafes during a quiet time. From very big screens to rather small ones, you don't need much beyond an internet connection, some seating, and a screen of any size to get people together for a TEDx Live event. These events are held in classrooms, in pubs, and in co-working spaces. Attendees can get comfortable on couches or in theaters. And because TEDx Live events don't require much in the way of production, you could set up the event outside and, like TEDx Chengdu, have a family-friendly screening in the park. With some additional activities to keep little ones occupied, this is a fun way to invite as much of your community as possible. As an organizer, you create space for conversation, open doors to new ideas, and shine a spotlight on local innovation. These 3 formats allow you to find more ways to get together and learn, to create sustained, invested communities, ones that will rekindle old interests, forge new connections, and feel that much more connected to the place they call home. So, as you reflect on your recent speakers or start to think about how you might structure your next event, consider whether any of these formats might help you extend the reach of your ideas and reflect back the best of what your area has to offer.